I want to be a structure that supports the ideas of our time and, keeps them for future generations. That's why I do it. This is honestly my selfish reason for doing this job. Originally in 2012, I was still living in Australia, living in Sydney. I was curating shows for museums and institutions, and one of the artists I was showing was Mel O'Callaghan, Australian artist, living in Paris. She said, why do you only do these off-site projects in Sydney? Why don't you do these in other cities, for example, Paris? So I said, okay, fantastic idea. I took a residency at Cité des Arts as a curator with the idea that artists would make the work in my studio and then we would eventually show the work in Mel O'Callaghan's atelier in the 9th arrondissement. We just got so excited about this project that we decided to continue doing this, and that's really the beginning. So in 2013, Mel O'Callaghan and I opened a gallery, a curator and an artist. Neither of us had worked in a contemporary gallery before, so there was all those things that we had to build from scratch, which has its drawbacks, but I think also you come up with your own ways of doing things that can be reinvented. But I would say the thing that's super close to my heart and what I find really important for Galerie Allen is we have this artist, founder, director, who is a sort of counsel for me to know and understand what artists need. So I can be very square at times and say, okay, we're going to do this in a certain way, but I can always rely on her to ask, will that suit artists? How can we put artists first? The most important reason why we're running a gallery is to work with artists of the time, to be part of the discourse, to be part of what is happening in our own times. So we have a sort of mix of artistic positions that are dealing with the themes of today. So the vision of both Mel and I is to make sure that the artists that we believe in are well represented, not just in the gallery, but in the greater landscape of contemporary culture, and then be sort of archived and kept for a future generation. The greatest challenge of working in the commercial art world is putting a monetary value on a cultural object and how to price it. I mean, there is a commercial element to what we do, and if we avoid that part, then we're not serving our artists. That's why we do put so much energy on the museum institutional side. So their CV says, okay, we've done this exhibition, we've been shown in this museum, collected by this institution, and having a kind of concrete progression of the artist's career before we can make a concrete progression of the value of an artwork. It took me a while to get to that point where I realized that I had to be not just a gallerist, but an art dealer. And I had to do the sticky end, which is the business end. And that's what artists need to continue, one, their economy and living and paying their studios. So there's this duality of something very emotional but very practical that we have in the gallery. And the artists are very different, have their own histories and their own ways of working. So we really try not to make any hard lines of where things should go, because contemporary art is completely alive, multifaceted, and sometimes contradictory.